Az's love doesn't exist. Episode 5.
Welcome. Grandfather will soon be here as well. Let's wait for him inside.
Sure. Is Aijin not joining us today?
I think he had plans. Did you want him to join us?
I just thought, the more the merrier.
I don't think he'll be able to make it in time.
Oh well. I wanted to return the comb, but I guess I won't be seeing him today.
I thought you didn't like Aijin.
I don't dislike him. Aijin may be a little rough around the edges, but he's actually a good person.
Really? What about me?
You're an all-round good person.
Why, isn't that sweet?
I can't exactly ask Guihyun to give Aijin this comb. Guess I'll have to return it another day. I often wonder, don't you ever feel like it's all so unfair?
Ha?
You know, to marry someone the family wants you to marry when we might actually fall in love with someone else one day. Ever since we were little, both Guihyun and I were told countless times of how we would grow up to be each other's other half. During the Japanese colonial period, Guihyun's great-grandfather fought for independence in Manchuria, while my great-grandfather wrote for the cause, awakening the masses to the independence efforts. What's more, The Midnight Sun of Midnight Sun Foods Inc. comes from the title of a poem my great-grandfather wrote for an independence newspaper during the period. Perhaps the most famous line from his poem, "I wait for you in the midnight sun," likened the Japanese occupation to the dark night and the hope of independence to the glistening moon. The poem's message was that as the moon brightens the dark night, the resilient hope of independence will patiently outlast the dark times. The two dear friends swore to become one family with the marriage of their children, but their plans were thwarted as they both only had sons. That was until I came along a generation later. No one dared even fathom that either Guihyun or I could even entertain the thought of marrying anyone else. Our opinions had no part in the matter.
Do you feel like it's unfair, Cian?
More than fairness, I feel like we're all tied up in this abstract promise from years ago, you know? And to be honest, it doesn't have to be me, it just has to be a great-granddaughter of the Midnight Sun poet, right?
Well, I guess that is the most important part, but that's not everything. I am a human, you know.
If you ever meet someone you truly love, you don't have to feel apologetic towards me. I hope you come to value your own happiness more than the promise of our families.
This is all so unlike you, Cian. Why are you saying all this? It's like you're a different person.
Is it? What's not like me?
I can't put my finger on it exactly, but you're different. Oh, I don't mean that I don't like you anymore, don't get me wrong.
Of course, he feels that I'm different. I was always cautiously tiptoeing around Guihyun in the past, and here I am, saying whatever I want.
Find someone I truly love? Grandfather would have passed out if he heard.
Really?
Of course. He's only got eyes for you as my match. He's cared for you so dearly ever since you were born.
Guihyun's right. He's cared for me as if I were his own. How much do you think he cares for me now? I bet he'd grant you any wish. What about you? To what extent could you grant the wishes of your future fiancé?
Is there something you want? Tell me and I'll buy it for you, no problem.
There is something, but I don't want knowing.
Here, take my credit card you want.
Sorry, but it's not exactly something you can pay for with a credit card. What I want is something way bigger. I don't doubt grandfather's sincerity, but I can't go to grandfather with this kind of request. What are you willing to do for me, oppa? 2 weeks later. Really?
Yep, I told grandfather and it was all finalized earlier today.
Thanks so much, Guihyun. I had no idea things would work out this fast. Thanks to Guihyun's swiftness, he was able to get grandfather's approval, and my birth father was able to successfully get a deal with Midnight Sun Foods Inc. after a meeting with the purchasing team. Now my birth father's factory will be able to dodge the chain reaction of bankruptcies that was due to happen in 6 months' time. This also means that I've stopped the death of my birth father following his shock from the bankruptcy. I don't know how to say how grateful I am to you.
Don T mention it. Speaking of which, I haven't mentioned a word of you being a part of this at all, so don't worry about that. I do have one question.
Yeah, what is it?
You said that the president of that company was like a lifesaver to you. Are you going to keep that story a secret from me too?
That story being that the president of the company you helped is my birth father and the person raising Yuntai right now. I'm sure he'll come to know the full story someday, but I can't be the one to tell him now. I am sorry, oppa. Someday. I'll tell you someday in the future.
No, forget about it. I shouldn't have said anything. It's late. You should go to bed, Cian.
97, 98, 99.
How'd you convince grandfather?
100. What?
What did you promise him in exchange for him granting that request?
It's a done deal. Why do you want to know the details? There was no way grandfather would grant the request of helping out a tiny company of no relations. And I couldn't bring up Cian. So I shared my conundrum with Aijin, not knowing that he would actually succeed in convincing grandfather.
I'm not going to tell Cian that you were behind this.
Yeah, whatever. She asked you not to tell anyone, right?
Don't you feel a sense of injustice that I'm taking the credit?
Not at all. Anyway, doesn't Cian seem different? She keeps doing wild shit.
Watch your mouth. She's going to be family one day.
What, does Cian want to become the head wife of the Zhong clan?
Well, it's not like Professor Kim is going to allow her, the last of her family line, to marry anyone else. And no other household will value her and the Midnight Sun legacy she symbolizes more than ours.
Bloodline, legacy, value, ugh. Some excuse. Is Cian even capable of voicing her own opinion?
I told you to watch your mouth, Aijin Zhong.
That's why I was trying to go to the States. I feel like I'm in a madhouse with all this clan, bloodline, arranged marriage talk. Talking about the match made between our forefathers like it's some sort of holy prophecy. It's like y'all are neck deep in a cult, you know that?
Aijin Zhong.
I couldn't stand it anymore, so I was just gonna bounce.
I don't want to polish Crocs. Nor do I want to prepare a dozen ancestral services a year.
But then she said she doesn't want to polish Crocs, so
What are you talking about?
I'm gonna take another year before university.
What?
I'm not going to the US.
If you wanted to go to a college in the country, you could have just done that. It's too late to just decide you're going to take another year.
Those were the conditions of the deal.
Enroll in a university in the country. Don't go to the States. And major in business administration.
I guess I should be grateful the old man gave me an excuse to stay.
Looks like I have to turn left up there.
You want the home address of President One Day Choi? Sure, I can find out. But why?
I wanted to see them just once. To see my birth parents healthy and well. Maybe I'll be lucky and get to stare at them from afar. So, they lived in a nice palace. They must have had such a hard time, moving into my tiny studio apartment with me. I wonder which one is apartment 301.
Hey, you there. Aren't you Cian?
That voice.
It is you, Cian. What are you doing at my house?
Grandmother? Grandmother, you live here?
What is with you, child? You're not here to see me? I live in apartment 302 of this building. What is it?
I knew grandmother lived in Hanam, but it was beyond my imagination that she lived next door to Yunhai. Her love for her true granddaughter is awfully impressive. I was just passing by. And I remembered you lived near here, so I was looking around. There were so many clues pointing to the truth, if I were to look.
The kid next door looks awfully busy with her studies, tutors, and after-school academies, and whatnot. You're in the same grande, and you look quite leisurely.
You know the next-door neighbors well? My grandmother, whom I was told prayed for my safe birth at the temple every day of the pregnancy, never actually showed any interest in me after my birth.
That's right. She's nothing like you, bright and so well-mannered.
How nice. It would have been even nicer if she were your granddaughter instead of me. It makes no sense that she's so invested in the next-door neighbor's daughter and so uninterested in her own granddaughter.
What are you saying, child? Bite your tongue.
Can I stay a while, now that I'm here?
Well,
you don't want to invite me inside, do you?
Nonsense. Your grandmother's just busy, that's all. I have an appointment. So go home for today and next time.
I don't think it's a matter of next time, grandmother. It seems you'll always be too busy for me. I'll be off then. Goodbye.
Hey. Cian.
I haven't even taken 10 steps. She couldn't wait to get away from me. I guess her impatience and selfishness are evergreen. I can't believe she could do such a thing. Do such an unimaginable horrid thing to my birth parents and secretly live next door to them to be close to her true granddaughter. She probably wants to keep an eye on her precious Yunhai. No wonder she knew the moment the parents' business went bankrupt and brought Yunhai to Icon. How can a person be so cruel?
Cian Kim? It really is you. What are you doing here?
Aijin?